So in this series of video 2 here, we're going to talk about what's happening, how the plants are doing, and the next best thing to the soil is the compost. So we're going to do some tests today on the compost to see where my compost is sitting. And I actually built a little mock back to Eden garden here. So we're going to see how that tests out. We're going to test for fertility, we're going to test the pH, and we're going to see the temperature and see how that works. So stick around. Alright guys, so this is going to be the second video for my series on what's happening on the grow table. And we're going to see how things are coming along with the plants. We're going to talk about the Back to Eden garden, and we're going to talk about compost and how good and how much nutrients is in that compost for your plants. So first off, I got some pictures up there. You've seen everything is coming along pretty well. You can see that my Reaper peppers are really coming along nice. I was impressed. It usually takes about 35, it says on the package, 14 to 35 days for germination. These guys popped in 14, I'm sorry, so that was really good. I just planted this the other day. It's 2 days old, and this is mustard seed. Now, obviously this is the radish that we showed the other one. And here is a mixed salad again. And this is from the sprout house. It's kind of filling in nice. And to the new addition, this is the sunflowers. Very tasty. So that's what those are. And like I said in my last video, I don't know what it is with me and oregano, but they're small. They're taking their time. But we'll see how they come along. And this one here just pulled out, this is pea sprouts, so we're just letting that one do its thing. It's coming along really nice. And from the last video, guys, you saw the different plants. Now these two tomato plants were growing exactly the same style. They were started off in a Pro Mix, and they were exactly the same height when I put them in these two pots. The thing that I'm seeing here is this is the Pro Mix right here, and this is my secret concoction. And as you can see, I've got two starters where this one here is just still hanging in there. It looks good and healthy, but I'm liking the idea. Look at how nice that little plant is already. I must be doing something right. So I'm going to put these guys underneath the big lights for a while to see if I can get them things that crank up a little bit. So today we're going to take one of the most important things in gardening, and that is compost. Compost is feeding the soil. It's feeding your plants. You can't year after year take plants from your garden and not put something back, and compost is a huge part of that. It puts the nutrients back, and it's organic as long as you get it off your land. So what I want to do is I went out to my compost pile, and this is raw compost, so this is what the chickens are doing. As you can see, it's not been strained. It hasn't been anything done to it. It's just, I went out there and I pulled some up. Now you remember, guys, it's, well, February 1st. It is below zero outside. This stuff is still nice and moist and soft. So what we're going to do today is we're going to test it to see what the levels are. Are we, you know, it's probably, I want to look at 4 to 5 months old. Are the chickens doing their job? Is what I said about them being the workhorse of the garden, of you know, they scratch in there, they till it up, they break it down, they eat on it, they have their droppings on it. So it's a constant mixture. And all I do in there is once a month I go through chips and I put some leaves on the top, and I just keep building that up. Are they making me my perfect organic compost? So we're going to try it and find out. So what I'm going to do is I want to make some kind of like a mud mixture here. I'm going to take that and I'm going to stick it in the jar. Make a mess. We'll pack that down. And we're going to add a little bit of water. The other thing, guys, that I want to show you is because this package right here of humanic acid is in the compost, because this is breaking down, it's spongy. There's pieces of that in here. And what I said before is that's what your microorganisms need to build that soil, that rich soil that you're looking for. So if you go and you put azomite on there, you want them organisms in there to actually use up and break down so your plants can use azomite. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit here and we're going to add a little bit of water to it. And we're going to try to mix this up as best as possible. And right off the bat, I'm dropping it on the floor. You kind of want a pasty kind of substance to do your fertility test. So you get a true reading. Okay, so now let's see what we got here. Fertility. So in the room here right now it's 66 degrees. So we're gonna see what we got here. And remember when I told you before, guys, that 3 to 4 mark on your fertility line that's good. That's where you want to be. This is just I wouldn't say it's a cheap rapid tester, but it's not like the actual soil test where you get the big kit and you get the different chemicals and stuff like that. This is just a quick for gardeners that want to see where they're at, and if we need to add anything or anything like that to the soil to help to build it up. Because the bottom line is what we want to do is we want it to give it the best opportunity to grow. And what's that? The plants. Because the plants are what we consume. So if we have the minerals, we have all the nutrients for the plants, they give us the minerals that we need, which is a good thing. So, it only takes about a minute, guys. Remember I said it was 6 months old, 5 to 6 months old. So we are at 4 for fertility. Let's go down here and check the pH. We're at 7. And the temperature is 70 degrees. So you're asking yourself, well, what does that all mean? It means that in a normal compost, that if you're out there and you're turning it, there's a, you guys can go check this out on Berkeley's website. If you can go to Berkeley's recipe for a hot compost pile, where they show you how they can do in 2 weeks, they make that hot compost and making compost. But compost has three main nutrients that it needs. Okay, it needs oxygen, it needs moisture, it needs bacteria. So that's the three main ones. And what is it in the purpose? So you got microorganisms in the compost that is breaking down that compost. Them microorganisms is what, if you do a hot compost, you bake that all out. So you're killing everything good in there. You're just using heat and just baking it. With doing it this way, I'm getting all the microorganisms in there and all that other good stuff for my plants. And by testing it here today, we showed that it's ready to go. And like I said, it's 4 or 5 months. And it's a continuous build in the coop. So now that I know that this is where I want it to be, I know this is going to be better yet. I made a mock back to Eden garden setup here. And what I have in here is I have coconut earth on the very bottom. Then I took Pro Mix and I put a layer of Pro Mix down. And then on top of the Pro Mix, I put my compost on top of that, just raw, just as you saw me test it. I laid that on top of there, and then all I did is I took where is it? Oh, duh. Looking for a white bucket. Here's the white bucket. All this is broken down wood chip mixed with this came right out of the chicken coop. Right out of the hen house, and this has been in there since August. And I just keep adding to that because I do deep bedding in there. So I took that on that and I put that on the top. So what I want to do now is, obviously you can't do the fertility as well on here, just for the fact is because it wants more of a moisture content, and I suppose we could clean out the cup there. Because one of the theories that are out there is that the wood chips rob the nitrogen from the soil. That's true. It needs nitrogen to break it down. But we're missing the big point, is then all that nitrogen sitting in the wood chip to break it down, and it rains, and it floods onto our back to Eden garden here. And what does it do? It pushes some nutrients back into the ground. So it's this kind of a circle concept. And I've heard people say that, well, it took all the nitrates out of my ground, I can't do anything. So I wanted to try this in a controlled environment and see how this actually works, because to tell you the truth, I'm new to the back to Eden garden. This is the first year that I'm going to be doing it. So I want to see what I'm getting myself into, and I figured it's winter out, it's freezing out. What better time than to do this? So we're just going to stick this in here, this probe, and I'm going to kind of soak it down in that area right here. We're just going to slide our probe in here, making sure I'm not hitting the bottom. There, I hit the bottom. All right. So, turn her on. Temperature is 61. Obviously, I just added water to it. Oh. And the pH is at 6.8. The fertility is at a 3. And that's without even mixing it up into and making the paste out of there. So what does that tell me? Well, right now everything looks well, where I'm not too high, I'm not too acidic, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So what does this remind you of? Obviously without the the chicken droppings but if you look at this, what is compost? Leaves, wood, everything else. This is how nature, this is how God designed it to work. That's what makes this Back to Eden such a wonderful thing, is because, like I said in my other one, we don't have to put any work into it. It does it by itself. First off, and let me get this straight, the first part of this, there's a lot of work. You have to build it. You have to build that soil. But once that soil is built, once that layers are built, it's just adding it and enjoying your garden. So guys, I hope that this gives you a little heads up. We're going to be doing a lot of these short videos like this of updates on the grow table, seeing how things are, trying out some new stuff, and showing you where the plants are sitting. And now that I'm done with the series on your soil, now we're going to go into the seeds and how to prep the seeds and how to pick out the seeds. You guys, if you haven't watched it, I have a video up there, planning your garden, how to plan your garden for 2018. Go check that out. There are some great websites on there that will help you to design your garden and give you the most garden and most vegetables with the space that you have. It's a great thing to have. I'm not promoting it or anything like that. It's just something that I used. I liked it. It worked well for me, and I'm just giving you that information. So guys, you guys take care. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help us out tremendously. And I wanted a big thumbs up and thanks to all my subscribers. I hit over the magic number of 1,000, which was a hard thing to do. And now we can just enjoy and have some fun and concentrate on videos instead of worrying about what YouTube's going to be doing about canceling our stuff. So now that my rant is over with, you guys, we'll see you on the next one. You guys take care. God bless. And we'll catch you later.